Yeah, that'll do that. That may have bothered some of y'all. I can probably guess a few of y'all that bothered. You got to know. And it's not the first time she's hit it, which is interesting. But I'm guessing she just got a little bit close. Waiting on scraps. Vultures. Oh man, I love that thing. Which one of y'all knocked down the door? Huh? Goodness. That's why we can't have nice things. What's the matter? What is the matter? Morning. What's the deal, bro? It's a little fluff ball. Alright, we're heading to the thickest part of the woods, which I was actually advised to start trapping away from the coop, which makes sense. So when you've trapped over 20 raccoons, and I think we're up to like 15 possums, and now 1 skunk, you need to start trapping away from the coop. Draw them somewhere else, use good bait. Interesting. So both the foothold traps went off, and there's a possum in the live trap, but he's already dispatched, oddly enough, and it looks like something tried to get him out. So that's interesting. There's talk of a big cat that lives on the 50 acres to the west of us, and I wasn't buying it at first, but I've become really good friends with the guy that owns the 50 behind us and the 100 across from us. Like he owns both. And his father-in-law owned the land before him. So they've always owned it. And he used to be a goat farmer. And now he farms the big cows and steers and bulls that you guys see. So he's always been out here. But when he was a goat farmer, he was finding his goats, like 100-pound goats, not Nigerian dwarfs, filleted open. Coyotes, I don't believe a coyote can do that. A pack of coyotes, maybe. I don't think a bobcat would come this far. It certainly doesn't care about dead food. That's more of a coyote thing. Well, let's move this possum. I'll always spare you guys that. There's no point in watching me move it. All right, possum relocated. All right, let's keep making the rounds. Got a couple cameras to check for real trespassers. Make sure they're staying in their lane. I'm this close. Real quick before we move out of this spot, I want to show you guys. I posted this on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, but I wanted your guys' opinion too, because I know some of y'all don't do the social media thing for the videos, and I totally get it. Totally okay. But all over the farm, on the back 4 acres, there's probably 20 or 30 of these little evergreen seedlings, saplings. And forgive me, I don't know if they're cedar. I don't know if they're just regular old pine tree, a Douglas fir, a spruce, a Christmas tree. I don't know. But they're beautiful. But I thought it'd be really pretty. When somebody owned the land before us, they'd knocked those trees out, sadly enough, taking some dirt off the top of the property. And it is what it is. It happens. Okay. But there's these little trees everywhere. And I want to know, I know it's beginning to turn to fall. Now we're still due for like 95-degree weather this week, which is, it just makes me want to cry. But I'm ready for Christmas. When do you transplant trees, and can you even transplant trees this type? These trees, this particular one I'm getting ready to show you is about 4 feet tall and probably 4 feet across. But it's going to starve back here. Look at the, you know, it's not going to grow back here. I don't know how it is growing, other than it's an evergreen and it's a tough little tree. So let me know when and where I should move it and what I should do and if I should do it and what I should feed it when I do it. Also, how big could that root ball be? Is it 4 foot tree? You got a 4 foot root ball? You guys see that well enough? Kind of get a better idea. There's the top of it. It's 5 feet tall. It's as tall as my shoulder. But it's just so pretty. So pretty. I mean, I literally know nothing. For all I know, it could be deathly poisonous and I won't make it out of the woods. Here's where that limb fell across the other day that I was working on, and I didn't realize outside of frame you guys couldn't see how long it was, but that is it right there. And running from here to there, it's about 20 feet long. And it wasn't good, but I'm gonna do a pole saw update video because I stinking love my DeWalt pole saw. And I'm gonna clean some of this up. I mean, it's pretty driving through here, but I really don't want that falling on my fence, and I really don't want it falling on the fence in the winter. Is that another one of those trees? It's been about an hour. I had to get some breakfast. I couldn't stand it. And I checked on Cabela, and she's doing fine. She's a pretty big dog too, I think I've mentioned, but she's just shy of 100 pounds. She was a little over 100 when we moved out. But that farm life summed a lot of us up. I believe it hurt at all. It just shocked her. Stop it. So now for you guys, I've actually got kind of a fun little project. Check this out. I ordered this off the old interweb, and it's been in storage. And apparently a mouse moved in at some point. But y'all know we like superheroes, and we hate mosquitoes. And you can probably tell by the thumbnail what I'm talking about, but we just had to have one of these. The Bat Box. Oh, and look, it's got an American flag on it from my American shirt. I had to have this. Had to have it. So I got this on the interweb, on good old Amazon. I'll tag it below. Totally worth it. If you didn't know, bats eat mosquitoes and other flying insects and bugs like horseflies. It says to hang it anywhere from like 12 to 20 feet in the air. And sometimes the eave of a building is good, sometimes it's not. It kind of gives them a little bit of shelter. However, the only eave of a building I have is not tall enough. Okay. It's just barely 12 feet. So I'm actually going to hang it on a utility pole, and I do have permission from the utility company to do it because there's nothing conductive in it. I mean, I got to use screws to mount it, but there's no metal, there's no hardware cloth, nothing like that. If you didn't know, bats need something to kind of hang on to when they sleep. So this particular company, this design of this bat box, they actually just cut these little grooves. Oop, come on. They cut these little grooves in the back plate or the panel, and that gives them something to hang on to versus metal. So should be all right. This one, it literally just holds up the wire so that cars that are, you know, if you had a big rig come in here, or when those mobile homes were moving in and out of here, that's literally what this pole does, is just holds that wire up out of the way. So that's where we're going to put it. All right. So she's just barely 12 feet high because I strongly dislike heights. So that's as high as it's going. So if the bats don't like it, well, the bats don't like it. So it's actually about 12 and a half feet tall because the ladder was on an incline, and I measured the height of the ladder to get the height of the bat box. So it's a little over 12 feet high, and it's facing the south. Bats can eat up to like 1,000 mosquitoes an hour or something like that. I don't know. I need to look it up. People also, you know, they'll make gourds and hang gourds around the property, and martins, make martin houses out of them, and swallows. They also eat bugs, insects, flies, mosquitoes, and things like that. But one of them, I can't remember if it's a martin or a swallow, but they like trap the mosquitoes under their armpits, and then nope. I don't know. It just grosses me out. So I don't need martins or swallows, whichever one it is. But I like bats. I like Batman. So now I've got a couple of big projects. I'm not sure which one I don't want to do worse. More. I don't know. I've got a four-wheeler and a lawnmower, and putting them in the shed isn't that big of a deal, but the door's kind of narrow. I didn't really have a choice. I didn't want to reframe a door, but the door's very narrow and Case cannot pull the four-wheeler or the mower out. Actually, the mower's not even been staying inside the shed just because it's easier to leave it out, because we move the four-wheeler in and out all the time. Long story short, I want to build a lean-to off the back of the shed. It'll be very, very easy, very simple. But I don't really want to go buy new lumber to do it. So how do you do that? Well, you got this ginormous, ugly, improperly built deck. I cannot actually even walk on certain parts of the deck. I know who built it. They did a terrible job. And they're also trespassers now. So it's just horribly designed. They even covered up one of the water spigots. So in order to use water near the house, I have to reach down by the crawl space, which they also covered up. What I plan on doing is ripping that entire thing off of there. The whole thing. All of it. So those are 16-foot boards. Some of them are rotten, some of them aren't. But regardless, he used sheetrock screws to put the deck together. And I don't know if you guys know anything about sheetrock screws, but that's a terrible idea. They are concreted in, but nothing is attached to the house. So I could just rip it right off of there. I think I'm gonna do first to see which, if any of these boards I can salvage just for a simple, really simple frame off the back of this shed. Very simple. So, and I've actually got there's a bunch of base rock right here. It's kind of nasty looking, but there's a bunch of base rock, but that's perfect to park a four-wheeler and a lawnmower in. So any fluids, debris, mud, dirt, whatever, we can literally just hose them off in there. So, and one of the piglets found the shock fence. So, and once we get these boards off of here, I get my water spigot back. It's also a lot of yard there. And what I'd really like to do is put a roof over the porch, at least like start a post right here and run the roof this way. Because right now when the wind blows and it's raining, man, it's nasty. It's real nasty on that front door. It's hot. There is no cover whatsoever. It's not good, so. Bird feeder. Ended up being a squirrel feeder though. Spider's nest. But you guys see that? When you see remember me, happy Mother's Day. Look at that cursive. Woo! Don't see that much anymore. 5'11", 97, and then I remodeled it 5'8", 11. So I just added hinges and something else. Pretty cool. Alright, had to change shirts. The other one started getting sweaty. So, I mean, I could do this thing delicately, but I don't exactly have a history of that. I'm actually really good at demolition. So that's not a deck screw, that's a drywall screw. It's not even an old deck screw, it's definitely a drywall screw. But as I try and take this apart, most of these, the head's just stripping right off the bit. And I've got it cranked down. So this is what's happening to focus. This is what's happening to every single one of them. Alright, I woke up this morning and I was ready to tear down a deck and chew bubble gum. I'm all out of bubble gum. Almost. Got one left. And these are my spectacles. I do need to wear them, but Adler has a tendency to rip them off my face. So, but as safety glasses, they work well. I'm not really in the mood for delicate. about me climbing around the deck like that. Because you can tell by looking how unsafe that is. I just took a chainsaw to it. So, I'll show you guys here in a minute, but just out of frame. Is it out of frame? Ish. Just out of frame, I've got a really low spot in the yard, and I got to bring dirt up and kind of backfill against the house. So, whew, that's muggy. So anyway, yes, I'm gonna throw all this in a pile right there and set it on fire, even though it's got screws and nuts and bolts in it, because I got to bury it. So, yeah. And I've actually had in 36 years 2 tetanus shots. I think they're good for 10 years. And the last one was May of 2011. So I should be good for like another 7-8 months, right? All right, guys. Phew, that does it for today. I might, this might be a part 1, part 2, part 3. I don't know. I might drag it out 2 years like Dutch's chicken coop or something. But anyway, y'all be good. Is this so? Yeah, I'm closing it. I'm done. I'm no longer in the shade. I'm good to go. I got to pick a different project today, but I need to shower. I need some water. I need to find something to do. It's heating up. Yeah, it's 89 degrees. It's 11:30 in the morning. So, y'all be good. Don't work too hard. Deuces. God bless.